it's Ash at Bookish Realm, and I am actually behind the camera because I am going to attempt to do my first part of a 5-part bookshelf tour. So I am doing this 5-part bookshelf tour simply because I have changed my shelves around. I've had to change my shelves around because of the fact that I had to change them and baby proof them. So things are set up a little differently than what you have seen before. So I wanted to kind of give you some perspectives. I've added some stuff, gotten rid of some stuff. So I want you guys to see what my shelves look like now. So what you are seeing now is actually my middle grade shelf, and it's only 3 shelves high. So it's not even a complete, it's not a tall shelf. And it was, sorry, camera shaky. That was intentional because with the baby, I didn't want to have anything that was super high that was going to harm her in any way. At least with these are actually, they're like up against the wall, so you can't even move them. Like they're fastened to the wall, so they can't even move. And I'm sure when she gets older and she starts walking, she's going to tear all these shelves apart because they'll be her height, but at least it'll be safe for her to be around them. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pull everything off of the shelf. I think a lot of us on BookTube are kind of past that point now. We really don't want to do that anymore because that's a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of effort. But what I am going to do is I am going to go through and kind of give you an overview of my collection. I will pull some out that are super important to me, stuff that are like signed copies and all that jazz. But other than that, we're just gonna do the basic run through stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you what's on the top of the shelf first, and then we will go from there. So on the top of my shelf here, I have quite a few things. I don't know why my camera is focusing like that. I think it's trying to focus in on Dumbledore. But I actually have my Harry Potter audiobooks, but they're cassette tapes, which is really cool because I don't think a lot of people have those anymore. I also have a Harry Potter vinyl figure. I have a couple of Harry Potter Funkos, and then I have a Harry Potter coloring book. There are some buttons up here that I have that someone gave me. And then I have a copy of Percy Jackson's Greek Gods up here because it wouldn't fit on the shelf. It's too big. So anything that's kind of large now is gonna go on the top. Okay, so the first section that you see here is the books that I have that are Brandon Mull. I haven't read any of these, and the reason why I actually got these books was because of the fact that I heard that if you're a fan of Brandon Sanderson, that Brandon Mull was actually another good author to try out. Beneath that, I have the first 2 books in the School for Good and Evil series by, oh gosh, just screw up his name, Soman Chinani. And I have the second book here. You can see it. It was sitting up at the top. And I believe that this one is signed. The second one is signed. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that visually. Yeah. So I got that signed a while ago, and I believe my first one may be signed, I'm not sure. Then when we move over a section up at the top here, we have 2 books by William, oh gosh, this is, y'all, I'm already doing awful, by Rita Williams Garcia. So the first one being Clayton Bird, the second one, One Crazy Summer. Kira Kira, which I read for a class, Masterminds, which is probably one of my favorite middle grade books. That's kind of like science fiction. I don't know why my camera is having such a hard time focusing right now. The Unwanteds by McMahon, and somebody told me a while ago that those books were really good, but I haven't had the chance to pick that up yet, and it's really unfortunate. And then Stella by Starlight by Sharon Draper. I actually have a couple of Sharon Draper books. Midnight Without a Moon, I still haven't read. And As Brave as You by Jason Reynolds. Still haven't read that, but I have read some of his other stuff. Then over this way, I'm gonna move. We have my Babysitter's Club books and then my entire collection of Goosebump books. So I am slowly collecting all of the old copies of Goosebumps. I tried a Goosebumps readathon at one point and completely failed. The way that you know which ones are the old ones and the original ones is they had the actual book number on them. So as you can see, I have quite a few, but they're seriously out of order. I think these are the first 4 though, but they're definitely bookmark up top. These are the first 4, but they are definitely out of order. But I know they are because that's 1, 3, 4. And this is book number 2, Stay Out of the Basement. And then the Babysitter's Club, I got book 14, 3, and 30. See if I can back this up a little bit. So these are the Babysitter's Club's books that I have. I'm trying to collect them so I can read them in order, but they're kind of hard to find. I think I'm going to have to look on eBay to kind of figure out which ones, how to get the rest of them, because that's going to be a bit ridiculous. So out of the Goosebumps, I read Welcome to Dead House. I haven't read Monster. I don't think I even read Monster Blood when I was younger. And I'm just dropping them. This is one of my favorite ones. Say Cheese and Die. And then there's a second one that I think is called Say Cheese and Die Again. This is definitely one of my favorites out of all the Goosebumps books. Let's see. I read Stay Out of the Basement as well for a class. And I thought it was okay. Like, people turn into plants and crap, which is really, really weird. I'm seeing if there's any ones up here that are my favorites. And I don't see any other ones that are absolutely my favorites, but I got all these at a library book sale. You can see I still have the tags on them, and they were only $1. So I'm going to take this first row down so we can see further into the back. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to be taking these off of the shelf, because if I do, they're going to be a pain in the butt to put back, and I am maneuvering this whole entire video while pregnant, and it won't be fun. So this first stack, like I said, I had to double stack because of the fact that I have a lot of middle grade stuff. This first stack, the first 2 at the top, the A for Elizabeth and Big Mouth Elizabeth, I actually got for a book review tour on my blog. And then after that we have A Little Princess, which I absolutely love, one of my favorite children's classics. Pegasus, The Book Scavenger, which I started and never finished. The next 2, I don't even remember where I got those from. I think I randomly got sent those. It's just the Eddie Dickens trilogy and Harper and the Night Forest. And then the last 2 on there I have read, Nooks and Crannies and Brown Girl Dreaming, which I both like. I love both. I originally read both of them from the library, and they were so good I was like, I need copies of my own. And here we have 2 of the books that I talked about in my middle grade series to check out. Fever 1793 by Lori Halse Anderson and The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brad Baker Bradley. Love those books. They're absolutely amazing. If you haven't read them, check them out. I have not read anything else except Small Spaces. So Small Spaces, and my copy got damaged. This is an art copy, but my copy got damaged in the mail. So let's back this up a little bit. So Small Spaces by Catherine Arden is such a phenomenal book. It came out September, I believe, of last year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. The characters, the plot line, and it definitely had me feeling creepy. The second book to that series has already come out, I believe. I think it came out at the end of last month. So whenever I get a chance, I need to get the second book because the first one was just so phenomenal. And I have a copy of A Wind in the Door, but my copy of A Wrinkle in Time is on another shelf. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It's just on another shelf. Sometimes an organization makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. And over here we have some of the series of Unfortunate Events books. I have read the entire series. I don't own the entire series. I'm thinking about getting it soon. I don't know. It depends on how I feel when I plan on doing another reread, and that'll kind of make the determination for me. So we're gonna go ahead and move down to the next shelf. Okay, so as we move down to the second shelf, of course we have the Harry Potter shelf, which is going to become a lot more extensive over time. Don't know how I'm going to fit everything on here, but I still need to get copies of the illustrated parts, and I also need to get there's Brian Selznick editions that I really want, but right now I have the US hardcovers as well as the US Scholastic paperbacks that make up Hogwarts Castle, and then I have a couple more paperbacks, and then I don't know if anybody, because they came out with new ones, but I don't know if anybody remembers these old ones that when they first came out, the Hogwarts library books. I know they're in like hardcover now, but I remember when they were in paperback like this, and you could get these from like Walmart, and this is the original this is the original copies. And this was, I was going to annotate this copy of the Order of the Phoenix, but then I decided that I wanted to annotate the hardcover copy. So what you will see, if I can get this back on the shelf, is that probably in the next year or so, when I do another reread, I will be annotating the hardcover copies that are right there. So those will be my annotated copies. And then there's nothing behind those. So that's that entire shelf. So then we're going to drop down one more. Okay, so as we get near the floor, you're gonna see on the left-hand side that I have 2 copies of the 20th anniversary editions of the Harry Potter books in house colors. So there's the Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets that I got in Gryffindor colors, because that is my house. I've taken that test multiple times to make sure, like, am I sure I'm not in any, and I'm always in Gryffindor, like, without fail. Whether I truly believe it or not, like, that has been my house since the test has come out for people to take it. Next we have my Rick Riordan collection, which is extensive and is only going to get bigger. So unfortunately, I have not read anything that's in this stack whatsoever. I need to get to, I tried to read The Red Pyramid a while ago, but it was so hard for me to get into it. I just wasn't in the space to read a mythology book at that time. So I just stopped, and I never have gone back to pick it up. But I need to, and as you guys know, who've been on my channel, you know that I am doing a reread of the original Percy Jackson and the Olympians, this series, in order for me to do a reread of Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus, so I can start with Magnus Chase and the Hidden Oracle. So I have read everything on this side, and I have some of these other little things here, like Percy Jackson Olympians, the Ultimate Guide. It's just like some stuff with some character cards in it. I don't know if a lot of people have these or not. I know a lot of people have like stuff with Magnus, and I'll show you some of the character cards. I was so surprised because I got this stuff secondhand and the character cards were still in here. So there is a character card. Let's see if this will focus. There we go. of Athena, Annabeth, Percy, Poseidon, Zeus, Grover, and then Luke. So those are some of the character cards that I have that were included in the set, which I always say I'm surprised. And this book has like different things in it, just informational stuff, like just different guides to Percy Jackson's world, where I thought it was pretty cool. And then I even have the survival guide for the Kane Chronicles. This one I don't think has the, yeah, this one didn't have the character cards in it, and I don't want to read that one yet until I get to the Kane Chronicles. And I have something else on this shelf that's not necessarily Rick Riordan related, but I thought it was pretty cool since a lot of this stuff is mythology. And it is the Book of Gods and Goddesses, a visual directory of ancient and modern deities. And actually what it is, so this book actually breaks down gods and deities by different parts of the world. So Oceania, Africa, Caribbean, Asia, Americas, Europe, and the Near East. So I thought that that was pretty interesting and pretty cool. Pretty awesome thing to have, considering that all this stuff deals with different Greek gods. And I want to add more to this collection, especially since Rick Riordan is doing a lot of imprints. And since he's doing a lot of imprints that are covering different parts of mythology, I definitely want to add them to that shelf, and that book will be a great guide. So that is it, y'all. That is going to be the tour of the first shelf. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll be back with another video soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, click the subscribe button, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Bye.